WNBA handed a Jordan-level face of their league and spit in her face that people bought lower bowl tickets weeks before for an average of $393, but on the resale market, they fell to $20. And minutes before the game, tickets were selling at $7 a pop.
The problem? The WNBA wasn't giving Caitlin Clark the recognition she deserved, and the fallout was immediate. Sponsors and fans started pulling back, sending the entire league into full-blown panic.
Yes, I mean, I think share isn't the right way to look at it because there's so much more revenue in the NBA. I think you should look at it in absolute numbers in terms of what they're making.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
While the WNBA scrambled to recover, Caitlin Clark was racking up sponsor deals one after another, proving exactly who the true face of women's basketball is today. Drop a comment with Clark Effect if you think the league can't survive without her. To see just how intense this has gotten, look at the numbers. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped into the WNBA, arenas packed to capacity, and TV ratings shattered league records.
This is before the playoffs, but obviously the regular season views way up, and no surprise, these were the most viewed games last year. 14 of the 16.
Games with Caitlin Clark drew an average of 1.18 million viewers, almost 3 times the typical WNBA audience. Merchandise sales skyrocketed, with league-wide gear surging by 500%. Even her jersey and her Nike collection quickly became the top sellers.
Release and sales out WNBA star Caitlin Clark's shoes, version of Kobe Bryant sneaker.
The league had waited decades for this kind of spotlight, and then one rookie, Caitlin Clark, made it happen. But the trouble began when the attention wasn't steady. Whenever Clark wasn't on the court, ratings plummeted, empty seats became noticeable when she missed games, and media coverage barely bothered when she wasn't involved. Here's the real issue. Sponsors pay close attention to every detail: viewership, fan engagement, attendance, merchandise sales. And the pattern is clear. The WNBA's growth is tied to Clark, not the league as a whole. Executives hate admitting it, but the moment she steps away, everything around the league loses value. What's more concerning? Sponsors aren't making loud announcements or criticizing the league. They're being far more strategic. Quietly, they're pulling money from league-wide partnerships and funneling it into deals centered solely on Clark.
Newest sponsor is getting ahead of the game. She has signed with financial services company Gain.
Brands that used to invest in full league campaigns are now putting all their resources into Caitlin Clark and her expanding global influence.
There she is, the woman of the hour, Caitlin Clark, arriving to Pelican Golf Club outside Tampa earlier this morning to compete in the Annika driven by Game.
Nike no longer focuses on broad WNBA campaigns. They know where the real impact is. Now it's all about Caitlin Clark, and food and beverage brands are following the same playbook.
That girl from Iowa. But now it's my turn to inspire. If I can drop 40, you can drop 50.
Insurance companies, streaming services, mobile apps, and even lifestyle brands outside of sports are now centering their campaigns around Caitlin Clark.
It worked!
These companies have watched the numbers closely and know that Caitlin Clark drives engagement like no one else in the league. Meanwhile, campaigns featuring other stars have quietly faded. Some sponsors simply let contracts expire, choosing not to renew, waiting instead to work directly with Clark. It's not a boycott, it's a slow, deliberate shift, and this kind of change always hits the broader group first. To understand what sponsors see, just watch how the media reacts. When Caitlin Clark is on the court, every sports desk has her as the headline topic. Highlight shows lead with her plays. Talk show hosts all weigh in, and clips of her games instantly trend. Brands get massive exposure just by being linked to her. But the moment she's not playing, that impact collapses. Shows that dedicated entire segments to the WNBA last season barely touch non-Clark storylines now. Hosts who once discussed rivalries, playoffs, or top players skip the league entirely unless Clark is involved. Podcasts promising weekly WNBA coverage go silent. Social media sees a sharp drop in league content until Clark's name pops up again. The stats back it up. Nationally televised viewership fell about 55% after her injury. Her team's games dropped roughly 53%. Sponsors notice this. They know that airtime is currency. If broadcasters only care when Clark is playing, that tells them the league itself cannot guarantee consistent visibility. No company wants sporadic attention. They want certainty, and Clark provides that. Inside the league offices, services, officials understand just how precarious this is. They know Clark is carrying the excitement and that what she brings cannot be replicated by committee. Relying so heavily on one player is dangerous. One injury, one slump, or one mishandled storyline could unravel everything. That's why there's a fear in the league that hasn't been felt in years. If Clark isn't happy, if she's mistreated, or if the league fails to support her properly, sponsors could walk away entirely. League executives are now juggling two competing realities. They need Clark to be the face of the league, but they also have to ensure the other players feel valued. This is exactly why Adam Silver hesitated to share WNBA revenue. It's largely tied to Caitlin Clark's unparalleled influence.
Yes, I mean, I think share isn't the right way to look at it because there's so much more revenue in the NBA. I think you should look at it in absolute numbers in terms.
They want the star power, but they fear the league becoming centered around a single player. They crave the sponsorship dollars, yet they can't openly admit just how much they rely on them. This creates a pressure cooker situation for everyone involved. To be clear, this isn't about disrespecting the other players. Many athletes in the WNBA are incredibly talented and deserve recognition. The issue is that industries don't operate on fairness. They respond to demand. Entertainment has always revolved around stars. Michael Jordan lifted the NBA. Serena Williams elevated tennis. Tiger Woods transformed golf. Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, Megan Rapinoe. Every sport has a figure who reshapes the landscape. Right now, Caitlin Clark is that game changer for women's basketball. It doesn't diminish her teammates or opponents. She's simply the player whose popularity extends into mainstream culture. No marketing team tries to evenly distribute attention when the data clearly points to one individual. Every company follows the audience, and Clark is the one fans respond to. Inside the league, reactions to Clark's rise are mixed. Some players welcome it, understanding that new fans and fresh sponsorship money benefit everyone. They see that the league has been in need of this boost for years.
It literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
But some players feel left in the shadows, believing that their achievements, dedication, and careers are being overlooked because one rookie is hogging the spotlight.
Can you believe that the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, wrote an article called How We Did It about last year? And here's what she said. By nearly every metric, 2024 was a standout year. As transcendent rookies, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink entered the league. Regular season games drew an average of 1.2 million viewers, up 170% from the previous season. Our All-Star game brought an all-time high of 3.4 million. Yeah, she mentions Caitlin's name 2 times in the entire article, and both times she says Caitlin Clark and...
That tension doesn't go unnoticed, and sponsors feel it too. They watch closely when players voice frustration or show signs of conflict. When internal struggles arise around the league's most valuable asset, companies hesitate. They don't want to pour money into an environment where the biggest star feels undervalued or unwelcome. They certainly don't want to back a league that's fighting against its own momentum. So instead, they play it safe, wait, and put their money where there's no risk. Caitlin Clark. She delivers measurable results. Her audience spans the country, and her personality and style shine brighter than anyone else. Millions already know her story from her college career. The WNBA, by comparison, is less predictable. Attendance fluctuates by city, and TV ratings rise and fall depending on matchups. Sponsors want consistency, and the league alone can't provide it. Clark can. Her Gatorade You Can ad hit 2.2 million views, becoming the brand's most watched social post. Other interviews and branded content featuring her routinely draw millions of views, far surpassing typical league coverage.
I was once that little Iowa girl who was inspired to dream big. Real big.
That's why sponsors go to Caitlin Clark first. She delivers attention, engagement, and reach that the league simply can't match. But this puts the WNBA in a tough spot. Push her too hard, and other players feel overlooked, fueling tension. Don't push her enough, and sponsors keep their wallets closed. Treat her like every other player, and the league loses its main draw. Treat her as the centerpiece. An internal backlash is inevitable. No matter the choice, someone ends up unhappy, and every misstep hits protects the league's finances. The WNBA has leaned on Clark to drive attendance, TV deals, merchandise sales, and national relevance. But if she ever steps away or the hype fades, there's no backup plan, no multiplayer marketing strategy ready to fill the void. This reliance comes with serious consequences. Sponsors aren't abandoning women's basketball. They're simply betting on the one investment they can count on, Clark. Without her, arenas look emptier, ratings drop, and the league's momentum stalls. The future of the WNBA depends on how it navigates this reality. Embrace Clark, protect all its stars, and rebuild trust, or risk losing everything. Comment Clark Power if you believe Caitlin Clark should lead the league's future. Share this with every WNBA fan you know. This is a moment the league cannot ignore.